Hello dear students, I'm Assistant Professor Roshali Ahir, and in today's session of fermentation technology, we are going to learn in detail about the production of protease enzyme. So, let's start with the introduction about the protease enzyme. A protease are the protein degrading enzymes of plants as well as animal origin. Means basically they can be produced by using plants, animals, as well as different types of microorganisms. These protease, they are used traditionally for the manufacturing of cheese, whereas in various leather industries, meat tenderization, brewing purposes like malt protease are used in various brewing industries. And the main use of protease enzyme is the degradation of protein, or for the protein hydrolysis purpose. These protease, or the mixture of peptidase and proteinase enzyme, are used for the hydrolysis of peptide bond, or used for the breaking of protein molecule. The peptide bonds are used for the linking of amino acids, which forms a final structure of protein. And these amino acids, which are linked to each other with the help of peptide bond, this peptide bond is breaked with the help of proteinase enzyme. These proteinases are extracellular and peptidase are endocellular. Means these protease enzyme, it is made up of two types of or a mixture of two enzyme, which is peptidase or proteinase, in which proteinases are the extracellular, which are present outside the cell, whereas peptidase are the endocellular enzymes. It is the or the protease are the second most important enzyme which are produced on the large scale after amylase. Here is the mode of action of protease enzyme. Here you can see it is an example of protein molecule, in which different types of amino acids are bind to each other with the help of peptide bond. Okay, now our enzyme protease, it acts or carry out hydrolysis process on this peptide bond. Hydrolysis of peptide bond, it releases water molecule, and a peptide molecule and amino acids are separated. On the further process, if it is carried out by protein catabolism process, which is deamination is done, and after deamination different types of organic acids can be produced by this enzyme. So let's start with the classification of protease enzyme. The classification of protease enzyme, it is done on the basis of residues present on the catalytic side. On the last side or the catalytic side, which type of residue it is present, depending on that, classification of protease enzyme is carried out. Now the first type is saline protease. Saline protease are basically alkaline in nature, and its catalytic site contains saline amino acid, so it is known as saline protease. And these saline protease, it has the broad specificity to hydrolyze most of the peptide bonds. Then the second type of protease enzyme is threonine protease, which consists of threonine residue at the catalytic site. Next one is aspartate protease, which contains aspartate at its catalytic site. Same with cysteine protease, glutamic protease or glutamic acid protease. Here the acid protease, it resembles that animal digestive enzyme or pepsin and rennin are present at the catalytic site. Next one is metalloprotease. Metalloproteases are endopeptidase that contains essential metal atoms like zinc. So these were all about the classification of protease enzyme depending upon the residue in the catalytic site. Then the next one is classification based upon the pH in which proteases are active. Now depending upon the pH in which this protease enzyme it is active, it is divided into three classes. First one is alkaline serine protease, in which protease enzyme is present in alkaline pH. Second one is acid protease, in which in acidic condition the protease enzyme is highly active. And third one is neutral protease, in which protease enzyme is active at the neutral pH. Let's study all these classes one by one in detail. First one is alkaline serine protease. Now, alkaline protease are produced from alkalophilic bacilli and are largely used in the detergent formulation. Basically, these the pH of production medium it is kept 7 for the satisfactory result, but they can or this enzyme from alkalophilic bacilli are active in the pH range of 6 to 12, and they are highly stable at high temperature also, that is above 60 degrees Celsius also they can grow properly. They have serine at its active site, and the optimum temperature maintained for the growth of alkaline serine protease is 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, but they can even remain stable at the temperature above 60 degrees Celsius. These alkaline proteases have the specificity for peptide bond and is broad and have esterase activity also. The microorganisms used for the production of alkaline serine proteases are Bacillus licheniformis, Bacillus amyloliquefaciens, Bacillus fulmus, Bacillus megaterium, Streptomyces griseus, Streptomyces fradidi, Streptomyces rectus, and various fungal strains can also be used for the production of alkaline serine proteases like Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus flavus, and Aspergillus oryzae. All the different types of bacteria as well as fungi utilized for the production of alkaline serine proteases. as we have discussed earlier, that alkaline serine protease, they are used in the detergents and are cheaply proteases from produced by using bacillus strain, which are also known as bacillopeptidases. The best known proteases are Subtilsin class bulk, which is produced by using Bacillus licheniformis. This subtilsin class bulk, it is a crystalline protein. It is a single peptide chain with 274 amino acid residue, and it does not have disulfide linkage as cysteine and cysteine residues. The substilsin BBP and substilsin nova are other examples of best known proteases which are produced by using Bacillus amyloliquefaciens. These type of enzymes, they are not inhibited by the activity of EDTA, that is ethylene diamine tetraacetate, also does not show any kind of effect on the protease enzyme, but their activity is inhibited by DFP, that is diisopropyl fluorophosphate. So to inactivate such kind of alkaline serine proteases, DFP is used. Now, proteases which are used in the various detergent industries should have some of the basic characteristics, like they should be highly stable at high temperature conditions, as well as they should be stable at alkaline range between 9 to 11. Stability is association with chelating agents and perborates, that is at chill condition or at low temperature also this microorganism should be stable. But the disadvantage is that the shelf life of these enzymes, it is affected by the presence of surface active agent. So how we can screen such type of bacteria or fungi for the production of enzymes? As the enzymes for the production of alkaline serine enzyme, the enzyme should be highly stable in the alkaline conditions. So the screening for the microorganisms producing enzymes is done basically in the alkaline media. The media is designed in such way which contains alkaline conditions, and in that alkaline conditions the microorganisms, it may be fungal culture or bacterial culture, which can produce these such type of enzymes, are grown in the media which is highly alkaline, and the bacteria which can grow and survive in that conditions are screened or selected for the production of alkaline serine proteases. It is found that Bacillus licheniformis and Bacillus subtilis showed the growth in the range between 6 to 7, but when the strain improvement process is carried out on these Bacillus licheniformis and Bacillus subtilis, the improved or new strain can be grown at the pH range between 10 to 11 also. So basically genetic manipulation is carried out on both these strains, and they are made stable at alkaline conditions also, and such strains are selected for the production of protease enzyme. Once the strains are selected, then we go for the fermentation process. Previously, these cultures of Bacillus subtilis or Bacillus liquefaciens, they are stored in the lyophilized state or under liquid nitrogen. So these lyophilized culture, they are inoculated in the small conical flask or beaker which contains alkaline medium. Initially, these cultures are grown on the shaken flask and small fermenters at 30 to 37 degrees Celsius. After the inoculum development, we go for the fermentation process. Generally, the protease are produced by both submerged and solid fermentation process. So this fed batch culture, it is generally used to keep down the concentration of ammonium ions and ammonium acids, as they may repress the protease production. So generally, fed batch culture, it is used so that the byproducts like ammonium ions and ammonium acids will not be produced, which can reduce the production of protease enzyme. This process, it requires continuous aeration and agitation, because the high oxygen concentration, it is required for the proper production of protease enzyme. Once all the parameters are set properly, the fermentation process is started, and it is continuously carried out for 48 to 72 hours. Now fermentation time, it depends on the type of microorganism which is used for the production of protease enzyme. Once the protease enzyme, it is produced, it must be converted in a particulate form before it is added into the detergents, because previously, when protease enzyme was produced for the first time and it was used as it is in the different kinds of detergents, it showed various allergic reactions in the workers as well as in the consumers. So various processes like inculpation is very important to convert these protease into particulate form. So once the protease enzyme, it is produced, the encapsulation process or encapsulated product are prepared by the process of conversion of protease enzyme into wet paste by melting it at 50 to 70 degrees Celsius. Basically, here we go for the recovery process. The fermented broth, it is cooled to temperature of about 50 degrees Celsius in the heat exchanger. This is done to minimize the microbial growth and enzyme loss. And this temperature, it is maintained overall recovery process. Solid materials like mycelia or bacterial cells and other medium particles like cell debris and the medium components are removed. These material, they are removed by the filtration technique or by centrifugation technique. This separation, it may be done by continuous filters such as drum filters. Then after filtration, broth is treated so that colloidals are flocculated and become easier to remove. Once all the colloidal particles are removed, then we go for the purification process. This purification process, it is carried out on the pre-treated broth by the process of evaporation and ultrafiltration, and in this way protease is produced. Now we have learned in detail about the alkaline serine protease. Now we will study the second type, which is neutral protease. Now they are these neutral proteases, they are relatively unstable, and calcium, sodium and chloride must be added for the stability of enzyme. These neutral proteases, they are not stable at high temperature. So mostly these type of proteases are not used for the industrial purposes. The organisms which are used for the production of neutral proteases are Bacillus subtilis and Bacillus megatherium. Such neutral proteases can be inactivated by using alkaline proteases. So the activity can be reduced, or such type of neutral proteases can be inactivated quickly by using alkaline proteases. Then acid proteases, these acid proteases, they are similar to mammalian pepsin, which means they resembles animal digestive enzyme. Just like animal digestive enzyme, which is pepsin, acid proteases are similar to them. They have major applications in industries where protein hydrolysis at low preparation of soya sauce and milk coagulation in cheese manufacturing. While the soya sauce preparation or cheese manufacturing industries, such type of acid proteases are used on large scale. It is also used in various baking industries also. It consists of rennin-like proteases from fungi, which are chiefly used in cheese production. They are used in medicine, in the digestion of soya protein for soya sauces, production to break down wheat gluten in the baking industries also. So this was all about the protease enzyme. Now we will study the applications of protease enzyme. They are applied in various textile industries to remove proteinaceous sizing, in various silk industries to liberate silk fiber from the naturally occurring proteinaceous material in which they are embedded. The naturally occurring protein material, from that naturally occurring protein material, silk is liberated by using protease enzyme. Whereas for tenderization of meat, and also it is used in various detergents and food industries. These are all the applications of protease enzyme. So here we come to an end with protease enzyme production. Thank you.